On our anniversary, she threw my gift in the trash. I don't want handmade junk. I didn't argue. I just took it out of the trash. The next day, she saw it in a gallery window with a $10,000 price tag. I watched her throw 3 months of work into the kitchen trash. The wooden box hit the bottom with a thud. She brushed her hands together like she was disposing of actual garbage and walked out of the room. My name is David. I'm 37. I do custom woodworking. Not furniture exactly, more like art pieces. Boxes, sculptures, decorative stuff. Takes time, takes skill. Doesn't make me rich, but it pays the bills. Been doing it for 8 years now since I left my corporate job. Best decision I ever made. Been with Monica for 3 years. She's 34, works in real estate, makes good money, better than me most months. She never let me forget that either. Little comments here and there about how she's the breadwinner, how I play with wood while she does real work. I let it slide because when things were good, they were really good. But lately, more bad than good. Our anniversary was yesterday. 3 years. I'd spent the last 3 months working on her gift whenever I had time between paid commissions. A jewelry box. Not just any box. This thing was a masterpiece. Walnut and maple inlay, hand-carved details, dovetail joints so tight you couldn't slide paper between them. Secret compartments, magnetic catches, the kind of piece that takes hundreds of hours spread over months to get right. I gave it to her over dinner at home, made her favorite meal, set up candles, the whole thing. She opened the wrapping and looked at it. Just looked at it. No smile, no surprise, nothing. She asked what it was. I told her it was a jewelry box, for her collection. She had a lot of jewelry, expensive stuff. I thought she'd appreciate something handmade to store it in, something personal. She set it down on the table and said she thought I was getting her the bracelet she'd shown me last month. The one from Tiffany. $4,000. I told her I couldn't afford that right now. Business had been slower than usual. She picked up the box again, turned it over in her hands like she was inspecting a defective product, and said she didn't want handmade junk. Then she stood up, walked into the kitchen, and threw it in the trash. I sat there for a minute, didn't yell, didn't argue, just sat there processing what happened. 3 months of work, hundreds of hours. In the trash because it wasn't from Tiffany. I got up, walked into the kitchen, and pulled the box out of the trash. It had some coffee grounds on one corner. I wiped it off. Monica was in the bedroom by then. I could hear her on the phone with her friend Tara, telling her about her disappointing anniversary, laughing about the handmade junk her boyfriend tried to pass off as a real gift. I packed the box carefully in bubble wrap and put it in my truck. Went back inside. Monica was still on the phone. I told her I was going out. She waved me off without looking at me. I drove to Hendrick's Gallery downtown. I'd been working with Patricia, the owner, for about 2 years, sold a few smaller pieces through her. She'd been asking me to bring in more inventory, but I usually focused on commissioned work. Had a standard consignment agreement with her already. 50-50 split. Fair terms. Patricia was closing up when I got there. She saw me at the door and let me in anyway. I unwrapped the box and set it on her counter. She put on her glasses and picked it up. Didn't say anything for a few minutes, just examined every detail, every joint, every piece of inlay. She opened it, found the secret compartments, tested the magnetic catches. Finally, she looked at me and asked where I'd been hiding this level of work. I told her I'd been doing it all along. She just hadn't seen my best pieces. This one was supposed to be a gift. Didn't work out. She asked if it was for sale. I told her it was now. She set it down carefully and said she needed to do some research, but her gut told her this was gallery quality. Real gallery quality. She'd handled similar work before. Knew the market, could probably move it for $8,000 to $10,000 if she priced it right. Maybe more to the right collector. I must have looked shocked because she explained that this level of craftsmanship was rare. The inlay work alone was museum quality. She had a few collectors who specialized in fine woodwork. She wanted to photograph it properly, get it appraised, and display it in the front window. Would take a few days to process everything. I told her to do whatever she needed. We went through the paperwork, updated our existing consignment agreement for this specific piece. She'd handle insurance while it was in her possession. I'd get half of whatever it sold for. Standard terms. I drove home feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Not anger, not sadness, just clarity. Like everything suddenly made sense. Monica was already asleep when I got back. Or pretending to be. I didn't care either way. I slept in the spare room. The next morning I got up early and went to my workshop, had a commission piece to finish for a client. Monica left for work without saying anything to me. I heard her car pull out around 8. Over the next 2 days, Patricia handled the documentation, professional photos, condition report, provenance paperwork. She had an independent appraiser look at it. He confirmed her initial assessment. Comparable pieces had sold for between $8,000 and $12,000 at auction. She decided to list it at $10,500. On Thursday, 3 days after I brought it in, Patricia called. The box was now displayed in her front window. Prime spot, lit perfectly, price tag clearly visible. She'd already had 2 serious inquiries. One collector was coming back Saturday to examine it more closely. I thanked her and went back to work. Didn't think much more about it until Friday afternoon when my phone started blowing up. 8 missed calls from Monica, 15 texts. I read through them. She'd seen the box in the gallery window. Her office was just 2 blocks from Hendrick's gallery. She must have walked past it during lunch, recognized it immediately. The distinctive inlay pattern was hard to miss. She wanted to know what the hell it was doing there. Why was my trash art being sold for over $10,000? This had to be some kind of mistake. I needed to call her right now. I didn't call, just sent one text back. Told her the handmade junk found a better home. Someone who actually appreciated craftsmanship. Then I muted her notifications and finished my workday. She was waiting in the driveway when I got home, car running. She got out as soon as I pulled up. Her face was red. She started yelling before I even got my door open, demanded to know if that was really my box in the gallery, if someone was actually going to pay $10,000 for it. I told her it might sell for that. Patricia had interested buyers. It was properly appraised. Market value for that level of work. Monica's whole expression changed from angry to something else. Calculating. She said we needed to talk. Said maybe she'd overreacted about the gift. It was actually beautiful. She could see that now. She'd been stressed about work. Took it out on me. She was sorry. I asked if she was sorry she threw it away or sorry it was worth money. She started backtracking. Said that wasn't fair. She really did feel bad. And anyway, since we'd been together 3 years, she should get something from the sale, right? We could use it for a vacation. Or she could finally get that bracelet. I told her the money was mine. From my work, my skill, my time. I'd already decided what to do with it. Pay off my truck. Invest in better equipment. Save the rest. None of it was going toward jewelry for someone who threw my work in the trash. That's when the real fight started. She called me petty. Called me vindictive. Said I was punishing her for one mistake. That I should have told her the box was valuable. How was she supposed to know? I explained that value wasn't the point. I didn't make it to sell. I made it for her. Because I loved her. Because I wanted to give her something meaningful, something nobody else had. She threw it away because it didn't come from a store. Because it didn't have a brand name. That told me everything I needed to know about how she saw my work, how she saw me. She tried a different approach. Started crying, said she knew she'd messed up. She wanted to make it right. We could work through this. 3 years together meant something. She loved me. I asked her when she started loving me. Before or after she found out the trash was worth 10 grand. She left. Peeled out of the driveway. I went inside and made dinner. Ate alone. It was peaceful. The next few days were quiet. Monica stayed at Tara's place. Sent me a few texts about needing space. Fine by me. Gave me time to work and think. On Monday, Patricia called. The collector from Saturday had made an offer. $10,000 even. Cash deal. He was serious. Had the funds ready. She recommended accepting. It was a fair price and the buyer was legitimate. Well-known collector in the woodworking art community. I told her to accept the offer. She handled the paperwork. The sale closed on Wednesday. Wire transfer came through Thursday morning. $5,000 in my account after the gallery split. I immediately paid off the remaining $3,000 on my truck. Put $2,000 into a savings account for new workshop equipment. I'd been needing a better lathe for months. Thursday afternoon, Monica showed up at my house unannounced. let herself in with her key. I was in the workshop when I heard the door. Came inside to find her standing in the kitchen. She said she'd been thinking. Maybe we needed to take a break. Really evaluate what we both wanted. She wasn't sure we were compatible anymore. I kept my expression neutral. Told her that was probably smart. She seemed surprised I agreed so easily. She asked if I was even going to fight for the relationship. I asked her what exactly she wanted me to fight for. She said she wanted me to care. To show her I was willing to work on things. I reminded her that I'd spent 3 months caring. Spent hundreds of hours creating something unique for her. She threw it in the garbage and laughed about it to her friends. Now she wanted me to fight for the relationship? That ship sailed when the box hit the trash can. She got defensive, said I was never going to let that go, that I was holding one mistake over her head forever. I told her it wasn't about holding grudges, it was about seeing clearly for the first time. She valued things she could show off, things with price tags and brand names. I valued time and effort and meaning. We wanted fundamentally different things. She'd actually done me a favor by showing that so clearly. She grabbed a few more of her things and left. Told me I'd regret this, that I was giving up something good over my ego. I went back to work. The following week brought developments I hadn't expected. The collector who bought the box reached out to Patricia. He wanted to discuss a potential commission. One custom piece. Similar style to the jewelry box. Budget of $12,000. Was I interested? I was very interested. Patricia set up a meeting. The collector, his name was Richard, flew in from San Francisco 2 weeks later. We spent 3 hours discussing the commission, what he wanted, my process, timeline. He was knowledgeable about woodworking, asked good questions, appreciated craftsmanship. We agreed on terms, half up front, half on completion. 6-month timeline. I had the deposit in my account within a week. This changed everything. One commission led to visibility. Patricia started pushing my work harder, put together a proper portfolio, reached out to other galleries. Within a month I had interest from 2 more galleries. One in Denver, one in Portland. Both wanted to carry my pieces on consignment. Monica's friend Tara called me about 3 weeks after the breakup. Said Monica was struggling. She'd realized she made a huge mistake. She wanted to apologize properly. Could we meet for coffee? I told Tara that Monica had my number. If she wanted to apologize, she could call me directly. Tara said Monica was embarrassed. She'd acted badly and knew it. She just needed a chance to make things right. I asked Tara a simple question. Would Monica be reaching out if the box had sold for $50 instead of $10,000? Tara went quiet for a long moment. Then she admitted Monica had been talking constantly about the money, about how she didn't realize I was actually talented, how she could have had a piece worth thousands, about my new commission and gallery interest. I thanked Tara for her honesty and ended the call. That told me everything I needed to know. 4 weeks after the breakup, Monica showed up at my workshop unannounced. I was working on the commissioned piece for Richard. She walked in despite the closed sign on the door. Started talking about how we needed to discuss our relationship. I set down my tools and told her she needed to leave. I was working. She saw the piece I was building. The expensive wood. The detailed plans spread out on my workbench. Her eyes went wide. She asked if this was another commission. I told her it was. A $12,000 commission. She asked how many of those I was getting. I told her that wasn't her business anymore. She needed to leave. She changed tactics, said she'd been doing a lot of thinking. She understood now what she'd lost. Not just the relationship, but the chance to be with someone whose work was being recognized. She could support my career now. She understood the value of what I did. I asked her the same question I'd asked Tara. Did she understand the value before the price tag or after? She struggled with that, kept trying to say it wasn't about the money. But everything she'd said revolved around recognition and commissions and gallery representation. Nothing about me, nothing about us, just about what my work was becoming. I told her we were done, completely. She needed to stop showing up at my workshop. She started crying, real tears this time. Said she loved me, that she'd made a mistake, but people make mistakes. I couldn't just throw away 3 years. I reminded her that she threw away 3 months of my work without a second thought. Called it junk. Laughed about it to her friends. Now she wanted me to believe she loved me. She loved the idea of being with someone whose work sold for thousands. That wasn't the same thing. She tried to hug me. I stepped back. Told her I'd drop off the last of her stuff at Tara's place this weekend. We were done talking. She needed to leave now. She finally left. I watched her car disappear down the street and felt nothing but relief. 6 weeks after the breakup, I finished Richard's commission. He flew back out to see it. Spent an hour examining every detail. He was thrilled. Paid the balance immediately. Then asked if I'd be interested in doing 2 more pieces, smaller scale, $8,000 each. His friends had seen the jewelry box and wanted similar work. I accepted. This was becoming real, sustainable. I raised my rates, started being more selective about commissions, focused on pieces that challenged me. That pushed my skills. 2 months post-breakup, a local arts magazine reached out. They were doing a feature on emerging artisans in the area. Patricia had recommended me. They wanted to do an interview and photo shoot. I agreed. The article came out a month later. Big spread. Photos of me in my workshop. Pictures of several pieces, including the jewelry box. Richard had given them permission to photograph it. The article talked about my journey from corporate work to artisan, mentioned the growing gallery representation, the commissioned work, the waiting list I now had. My phone exploded with inquiries. 4 new galleries wanted to talk, 8 commission requests, 2 more interview requests from bigger publications. My website traffic crashed from the load. I had to upgrade my hosting plan. Monica sent me a link to the article, just wrote 1 word. Wow. I didn't respond. 3 months after the breakup, I ran into Monica at a restaurant. I was there with Patricia and a potential client. Business dinner. Monica was with some guy I didn't recognize. Younger than me. Suit and tie. She saw me immediately. I gave her a polite nod and turned back to my conversation. I watched her out of the corner of my eye, though. She kept glancing over, talking to her date, but watching me. At one point, she excused herself, headed toward the restrooms. I needed to use the restroom myself. When I walked down the hallway, she was waiting, asked how I was doing. I said I was good. Business was good. She said she'd seen the article, was happy for me, proud even. I thanked her and tried to walk past. She blocked my path slightly, said she'd been seeing someone new but it wasn't serious. She still thought about me, about us. Wondered if there was any chance we could talk, really talk. I told her I was happy she was moving on. I had too. She asked if I was seeing someone. I told her that wasn't relevant. What was relevant was that I'd learned something important from our relationship. I'd learned not to ignore red flags, not to stay with someone who didn't respect my work or my time. She'd taught me that lesson clearly. I was grateful. Her face fell. She asked if I'd ever forgive her. I said there was nothing to forgive. She'd shown me exactly who she was. I'd believed her. Now we'd both moved on. I wished her well. I walked past her to the restroom. When I came back out, she was gone. Her date was sitting alone looking confused. I went back to my table and closed a $15,000 commission with my potential client. 4 months after the breakup, I opened my own studio space. Small place, combination workshop and gallery. Patricia helped me set it up, gave me advice on layout, lighting, display. She'd become a genuine friend and mentor through all of this. The opening night was busy. Sold 3 pieces, booked 5 new commissions. My parents came, my sister. Real friends who'd supported me through the career change years ago. Monica showed up. I saw her outside through the window. She was dressed up, looked like she'd put real effort into it. She stood there for about 10 minutes, just watching through the glass. Never came in. Eventually she left. That was 5 months ago. Haven't heard from her since. My business is thriving. The commissioned work keeps coming. Richard became a regular client. His network of collector friends has kept me booked solid for the next 8 months. I've raised my prices twice. Still can't keep up with demand. I've been seeing someone new for the last 6 weeks. Her name is Rachel. She's a librarian, knows nothing about woodworking, but asks questions because she's genuinely curious. Wants to understand what I do and why I love it. She came to my studio 2 weeks ago. Spent an afternoon just watching me work. Said it was meditative, peaceful. She liked seeing something beautiful get created from raw materials. When I gave her a small wooden bookmark I'd made, she cried. Said it was the most thoughtful gift she'd ever received. She carries it in her purse, shows it to people. Not because it's worth money, because someone made it specifically for her. That's the difference. That's what I was looking for all along. The jewelry box lives in Richard's private collection now. He sends me photos occasionally. Keeps it in his study, uses it to store his late wife's jewelry, says it makes him think of permanence, of things built to last, of the value in craftsmanship. Monica reached out one final time, 6 months after everything ended. Long email, apologized for everything, said she'd grown as a person. She understood now what she'd lost, not the money or the status, but me, the relationship, the future we could have had together. She'd been shallow and materialistic. She'd changed. Would I consider meeting for coffee? Just to talk. No expectations. I read the email twice, then I deleted it. Some things can't be fixed. Some bridges burn completely. She threw away something valuable because she couldn't see past the surface, because it didn't have a brand name or come from the right store. That told me everything about her values, about her character. Maybe she'd changed. Maybe she hadn't. Either way, it didn't matter anymore. I was building something here. A life, a career, a reputation. Every piece I make means something, takes time, takes care, takes genuine skill. The right person appreciates that, values it, treasures it, understands that meaning isn't found in price tags and brand names. It's found in the hours spent, the attention to detail, the care taken, the love poured into creation. Monica wasn't that person. She proved it the moment the box hit the trash, and that $10,000 price tag, that was just confirmation of what I already knew. The real value was always there. She just couldn't see it, couldn't appreciate it, couldn't recognize it for what it was. I can though. And so can the people who matter. Rachel sees it, Richard sees it, Patricia sees it, the collectors who commission my work see it, the galleries who represent me see it. That's enough. That's everything.